What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing good. I am Anthony K. Thomas, and welcome to Wrestling with Rumors. Welcome, everyone. So, before we get started here on Wrestling with Rumors, I always like to start out first by saying that every rumor that I am about to read is exactly what it is. It is a rumor. We can speculate as wildly as we want with these rumors, but until they are proven true, or we see it actually happen on TV, they remain what they are, rumors. So with that, let's get into a new episode of Wrestling with Rumors. Up first, sources close to WWE told Corey Hayes of Bodyslam.net there are no plans to bring back Alberto Del Rio. WWE has not contacted him about a return, and they are adamant about not using him. There are no signs this decision will change in the future. So, since WWE acquired AAA Lucha Libre Worldwide, there has been speculations and rumors floating about Alberto Del Rio popping up back on WWE TV in the near future. And as long as this rumor remains true, there is nothing for us to be concerned about as far as seeing Alberto Del Rio back on WWE TV again, unless you go through the archives and want to watch old matches that he was a part of, like on YouTube or on WWE on Peacock through the WWE Network, or even on Netflix through old Raw matches and stuff like that. But as far as in the future or near future, as long as this rumor remains true, nothing to concern ourselves about. I think we're good on that. PW Insider says talent backstage in WWE are under the impression that Julia will get a big spotlight on SmackDown going forward. I could absolutely see that for Julia. Julia is one hell of a talent. She didn't really spend that much time in NXT. She was there for all of a jump, hop, and a skip before jumping into being added to the main roster. So I could see a big spotlight for her in the very near future. I mean, she does have a United States Championship match against Zelina Vega on a coming episode of SmackDown. I think it's this Friday on SmackDown from Saudi Arabia. So yeah, this is one of Zelina Vega's biggest challenges, but I could see Julia winning this match, but absolutely either before this year is over or going into next year as we get into WrestleMania 42 once again from Las Vegas. I could see Julia being in a either women's WWE Championship match or a women's World Championship match in that time frame. Absolutely 100%. And we don't even know if she's still going to be on SmackDown in the fall. I mean, with the draft coming up, as I'm sticking to saying that the draft will absolutely be in the fall, like around September. There could be some maneuvering around in that time, but we will see. But as far as the big spotlight thing, I can absolutely see that, and could also see Julia winning the United States Women's Championship this coming Friday on SmackDown. WrestleVotes Radio was told that WWE ripped up its plans for Evolution 2, and it's essentially starting from scratch due to Liv Morgan's shoulder injury. Liv was planned for an important tag team match at the event, and there will be ripple effects on the rest of the card as WWE adjusts its creative plans. I think as I've talked about a few times on Rumor of the Day, I think originally the plan wasn't that either it was going to be Liv Morgan versus Nikki Bella, or it was going to be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus the Bella Twins with the Women Tag Team Championships on the line. Now, since that obviously can't happen, and they had to throw that out the window because of the freak accident Liv Morgan had with her shoulder, and it looks like she's going to need surgery, and she's going to be out for about 6 months. from what I have seen and read through on Rumor of the Day, as long as those rumors are true from what I read on Rumor of the Day, it would seem that they are not going to vacate the tag team women championships. And it would seem that the one way that they would keep going without vacating those titles is have Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez be a tag team. So Roxanne Perez would step in for Liv Morgan and be one half of the tag team champions, making them a team, kind of like what they did with Bianca Belair and Naomi when Jade Cargill got hurt, and we found out that was Naomi who did that to Jade Cargill. In this case, it's just a freak accident. No one did anything to her. It just happens in the match. It's just part of being a professional wrestler. Accidents happen, injuries happen. So in this case, I think that would probably be the only way I could see it happening. I mean, originally I thought I could see them doing like a tournament, and the winner, and we get to the finals, and the winners of that finals would be new women tag team champions. But since they're doing it does look like they're going to be doing it this way, where Roxanne Perez is going to step in for Liv Morgan and be a tag team champion, considering, and I'm only saying Roxanne Perez because of her time she's been spending with Judgment Day, that Roxanne Perez is the only one that comes to mind as far as within the Judgment Day. But we'll just see we'll have to really just watch and see what happens and how it looks. I mean, we're about 2 weeks out, I believe. Yeah, we're about 2 weeks out from Evolution, from Saturday night's main event, and from NXT's Great American Bash, and from AEW All In. So, in the amount of time that's going to happen for 2 weeks, at least when it comes to WWE and those women tag team titles, we'll see. But I think we'll really start to see how it's going to shape, possibly this coming Monday on Raw. I think we'll get some more clarity on that. But we'll just have to keep our eyes and ears open and see how it looks moving forward. According to Bodyslam.net, they have been pitched in WWE to add... Oh, my apologies. According to Bodyslam.net, there have been pitches in WWE to add Ethan Page and Ricky Saints to Seth Rollins' new stable on Raw. I could honestly see Ethan Page more than Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints more. I see Ricky Saints being more on the solo tip as far as when he gets to the main roster and how he handles things. But Ethan Page, absolutely, I could see Ethan Page being attached to Seth Rollins' faction whenever we get that name and music coming. Absolutely could see that. But Ethan Page would have to first lose the NXT North American Championship before being a part of that. But as we look into the near future, I could see Ethan Page more than Ricky Saints. But if it does go this route and they add, and Ethan Page and Ricky Saints are a part of the new stable, even though I don't see it because of the beef and the rivalry between Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. That's why I say what I said before, that I see more Ethan Page than Ricky Saints. But could be interesting, but Ethan Page, yes. Ricky Saints, no, only because of the rivalry and the beef there, and it's still very fresh, especially what's been happening over the last couple of weeks between those two on NXT. Anyway, WrestleVotes Radio was told that more than a handful of people in WWE are pushing for LA Knight to be moved over to the Raw roster, where his presence on Netflix could be seen as a refreshing change. Absolutely. LA Knight absolutely should be on Raw, more than just because it would be a refreshing change, but I think it would be good for LA Knight to be on Raw, get away from SmackDown for a bit and be on Raw, and new competition, new competitors, new championships to go after, especially the Intercontinental Championship as one. So I think LA Knight on Raw is a good thing, and I do think LA Knight will be on Raw come the draft. Once we get into draft season and we have the draft, I absolutely see LA Knight making that move to Monday Night Raw. So we just got to wait a little bit longer. We have been seeing him for a little bit on Raw, but mostly because he's just starting this feud with Seth Rollins and the whole crew of Seth Rollins. So we'll see him sporadically on Raw as long as he's in this rivalry. But as far as full-time on Raw, I think we'll have to wait for the draft for that. But I absolutely do think LA Knight on Raw is a good thing. The wrestling... Oh, yeah. Regarding Jordynne Grace's new theme song in NXT, Fightful says one reason why the change was made is because WWE was concerned that the opening siren in her music sounded too similar to Bron Breakker's. Another factor is that Grace owned the rights to the original song. Fightful was told that in recent months, WWE has been adamant again about owning theme songs that are used on its programming. I mean, I can understand that because of copyrights and stuff from using other people's music, and copyrights, paying people who make music for copyrights can get very expensive, and it's a lot cheaper for any wrestling promotion to just have their own music for that particular performer, so that they don't have to so they can not have to worry so much on the copyright costs. So I totally get why WWE would change that. But also, I will say about the siren part of Jordynne Grace's music was that I didn't think Bron Breakker, I don't know if this is true for any of you, but when I heard the siren, I was thinking Scott Steiner. So like when that siren goes off, I'm instantly waiting for that holler, if you hear me, kind of thing. But I aside from that, I totally understand where WWE is coming from as far as being adamant, wanting to own their own music, copywriting. Copyrights are very expensive, especially these days, and it's cheaper on the free side if WWE owns their own music. So I totally get that. The Wrestling Observer newsletter says WWE's plans for Jey Uso's world title run did not change when the decision was made to put the title on Uso. It had already been decided it would be a short reign, and that he would lose it back to Gunther ahead of Goldberg's retirement match. So this is basically saying that since that first face-to-face between Gunther and Goldberg last year, everything was pretty much in motion, especially if we look at that video from Gorilla Position between Triple H and Goldberg and what they were talking about. It seems like everything was really getting into focus and laying out the groundwork for what we are about to see now with Gunther versus Goldberg for the world title at Saturday night's main event, which I also believe will lead to Seth Rollins cashing in and becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion at the end of Saturday night's main event. If I'm wrong, I'll be more than happy to say that I was wrong, but I feel it. That's how it's going to go for that. Per one, people close to Mercedes Moné say she was willing to lose to Athena to build a rematch at All In. However, when it became clear Mariah May was not going to sign a new deal with AEW, they decided to book the biggest match for women in the company on the biggest show, which means Storm versus Monet at All In. At that point, it no longer made sense for Mercedes to lose to Athena in the Owen Hart tournament. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I get that. Honestly, when that tournament started, I honestly believe that this tournament was Mercedes Monet's to win, and that with Mariah May no longer in AEW, now in WWE, in NXT as Blake Monroe, it made sense that this is the road that they were going to take, and that this match was going to finally happen. And it was less about the match between Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, but Mercedes Moné finally getting an opportunity at the AEW Women's Championship. This is the match that a lot of people have been waiting for to see, for her to get that opportunity at that championship. Whether she will win at AEW's All In 2 weeks, I think she will. I think she will win. I think this will be the second loss for Toni Storm at All In, and I think this will just be the final championship to complete her collection of women championships that she has collected from different promotions. But I also think at some point Mercedes Moné is going to need to drop all of those championships, all of them but the AEW Women's Championship, and have a decent long run as AEW Women's Champion. But that's it, only as AEW Women's Champion. I think how it will eventually go down, but we will see. People in AEW pushed back on that story, telling Fightful Select that Mercedes versus Toni was always the plan for All In going back to 2024. Mercedes is fine with losing matches, but AEW's booking just hasn't gone there yet. No, it hasn't. Once again, we'll see how everything plays out at All In for this match, but I don't think Mercedes Moné is going to lose at All In. I think she's going to become the new AEW Women's Champion, giving Toni Storm her second loss at All In. Wrestling Observer Live's Brian Alvarez was told that as of 2 weeks ago, WWE was still figuring out what John Cena's final dates will be in his retirement match. December, obviously, but when it exactly ends in December, my best guess would be very close. It would be after Christmas, but very close to New Year's Eve. Very close to New Year's Eve. I need to look at a calendar real quick to see exactly where that last Monday and last that last Monday and last Friday is, as we get close to it. But I think around there, and there's possibly they could even do like some kind of special event for John Cena, where the championship is on the line, but also like a retirement kind of thing for him. But we'll see how that goes for John Cena in the last month of 2025. Excuse me. Whew, I held that in for a while. Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of Wrestling with Rumors. I appreciate all of you for sticking around for the full episode and for past episodes. If you're new to this and you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can keep up when all new episodes of Wrestling with Rumors drop, which is every Sunday, and when a new short of Rumor of the Day drops, which is Monday through Saturday. But until next week, and next week I am going to be going over some of the results from Night of Champions. But I look forward to seeing you all next week for another edition of Wrestling with Rumors. Until then, Don't forget to take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace, y'all.